All right, so we will get started. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And we should be good to go. All right, so what I wanted to show today, I'm going to log into the training environment. It's something that most may or may not already know how to do, but it's something that I think is pretty nifty, really for the sake of more or less following up with people you may be trying to reach out to that you haven't been able to get in touch with, maybe like on an appointment call. You've reached out to decision makers and trying to get in touch with them, and you've tried 2, 3, 4 times and you just haven't been able to get them. So you're kind of just like, you know what, I'm going to go by and I'm going to see this guy. I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to try to set an appointment in person. And so what I wanted to show is, all right, so when you go to your leads tab on the mobile version, this is something that you are really only capable of doing on the mobile app. This does not allow you to do this on the desktop version and proper, but I'm going to show you two different things. So I've downloaded a couple of leads in a given area this morning, and let me refilter my selections here. So in my little area here, I've got, a few new leads that all kind of along Highway 75 between Richardson and Plano area. You actually have kind of a routing option to schedule, not necessarily appointments, but me personally in my career, I never really did a ton of physical drops where we'd go in and basically accomplish the same thing that we do on a drop call or a qualifying call or whatever you may call it in your office. But basically, like say for instance, let's say I wanted to just schedule a couple of drops. Like, hey, I want to go drop into these 10 to 15 businesses just to say hello, try to introduce myself, figure out who the DM is. Basically the same thing that we accomplish on a qualifying call, right? Well, one simple way that you can do that, I'm actually going to filter it a little bit further between a certain zip code that we're looking at here. Of pretty much kind of everybody in this general vicinity, that you can actually select the businesses that you want to go drop in on and do it pretty much all at one time. So what I mean by that is, if you notice right next to the little filter button where that check mark is, kind of right in the middle of the screen, there's a batch button, which is the one that's got the check mark on it and kind of the arrows pointing up, kind of looks like a file folder. If you click on that, that's the batch feature. And so you can actually select all of the leads that I filtered it in for that zip code. If for some reason I wanted to go drop in on every single business, but let's say I'm just going to select some certain ones that, hey, I'm going to drop in on these 9 or 10 or how many ever I'm selecting. And so I'm going to hit next once I've done that. And I've got multiple things that I can do all at one time. And so you can mark a call as complete. You can mark a drop as complete. But what I'm going to do is, I want to go set aside time to go by and see these 10 people. I'm going to schedule a drop. So I'm going to do it. And I would like to go do that, on, let's say tomorrow, starting at 10 o'clock. I'm going to start trying to go visit people at 10 o'clock. And what this is going to do when I do that, once I save it, I basically have logged all 10 of those businesses that I want to go see tomorrow at 10 o'clock. When I go to my daily plan down at the bottom of my screen here, and I go to tomorrow, it is going to automatically, starting at 10, ignore the one at 9:30 there, but starting at 10, it is going to basically organize the drops in the order that I should go that's going to be the most time efficient for me based on their location. So, and it'll be easier to see here. You see you got 10 o'clock, 10:05, 10:10, 10:15. The time is really irrelevant. This is just simply because I did it all at one time. And I selected those 10 businesses and put them all in at once. It's just putting those time in on themselves, or it's putting the time there on themselves, that the time is irrelevant, because I may go to this first business and the drop may last 10 minutes or whatever, and it's going to take me 5 minutes to get to the next one. That doesn't really matter, but it's going to make more sense that if you see on the screen here where it says view my traveling day on a map, and like say for instance, my very first drop that I'm planning to go to is the Avatel Technologies. So I'm going to view my traveling day on a map. Once I do that, it will actually put things in order of, like what's going to be the most time efficient to go to based on where they're at. And so you can kind of go, all right, so there's the first one, there's the second one, the third one, and then you know what, we'll come up to this fourth one, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm not sure where number 9 is, but you get the picture. So something pretty nifty that I think is really cool, and you actually have an option to also click to show you other leads that are around those areas as well. If for some reason you want to go drop on them, or even to the point of like when you get accounts in your hierarchy, it's not going to show up on mine, me being a territory instructor, because I don't have any accounts as a territory instructor. But it will also show you, if you select the accounts button, it will also show you that accounts that are clients that are already yours, that if you want to drop in and say hello and just see how they're doing and make sure they're doing okay, if you're already going to be in the area. So something pretty nifty that I like, just that feature. And it works very similar to if I were to refilter this to, let's say I've got some qualified leads of, I'm not sure why it just kicked me out. But let's say I've got some qualified leads. Well, that's not good. While I'm hoping that this goes through here, I need to log out and go to the training environment. Brandon, do you have any questions about anything at the moment based on what I've shown you so far?
No, not really. I didn't realize that you could actually make the drops like an organized thing. So that helps out a lot in that situation.
Well, I don't know how many physical drops that you do, but there are some that do prefer to do physical drops rather than drop calls. I'm more of a drop call guy, but
Yeah, I do understand that. I don't really do too many, but at the same time, there's that's also a pretty cool little trick that I didn't know that you could do through the app. Is that only on the phone that you can do that with right now?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. You cannot now you can. More or less, the only way you're going to be able to view it, like I'm showing you, is going to be through the mobile app. So, just one other thing that I'll show. Let's say, basically to the same tune. I've got all these qualified leads just for this example, and let's say every business that I'm looking at here, man, I haven't been able to get in touch with. I've tried calling this guy and trying to set appointments with these people, but every time I call, they're not in. I've been calling them for 2 or 3 weeks. And so, you know what? I'm fixing to put them on what I call the hit list. I'm going to run by and I'm going to go see them. I'm going to see if this business is, actually even open or if this dude's actually even there. And so, because sometimes, you can run into a business and introduce yourself, set an appointment that way just by simply going out and doing that. So let's say I've got all these qualified leads in this one little general area. I'm going to hit that batch button again. I'm going to select all of them in this one little zip code, hit next. And you know what? I'm going to schedule a drop on these guys. I'm going to drop in and see them on Monday. Now, realistically, shouldn't do this on a Monday, but here, we'll change this to Wednesday next week. All right, next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. I'm going to drop in. I'm going to try to see these guys. So now when I go to my daily plan on September 2nd, there's all those drops that I just scheduled. And I'm not sure how many it is, but it's a pretty good amount, it looks like. I'm going to have a full day starting at 10 o'clock that once I go view my traveling day on a map, that one day, here we go. Now I'm going to got, hey, my first one, then I'm going to go run by this one. Then I'm going to go run by this one. And I'm going to spend the day trying to get in front of these people, trying to set appointments because I haven't been able to get in touch with them. And so just again, a neat little feature that I think it can be useful, especially when you're trying to follow up with people that you're trying to set appointments with and can't get in touch with, or if you're just one that likes to go do more physical drops. So that's really all I wanted to show today. So if you don't have any questions, that's pretty much it.
All righty.
All right, my man. Well, appreciate you being on, and I'll see you next week.
Yep, definitely.
All right, see you, brother.
All right, see you.